These are the parts I'm going to be using today to do this job. Front pads, rotors, and calipers. These are the tools I'm going to be using today to do this job. A 3/8 ratchet, a 3/8 impact, 17mm socket, 14mm socket, 12mm socket, 14 and 17mm wrench, 10 and 12mm wrench, flat tip screwdriver, air gun, rubber mallet, hood prop, ceramic grease, dot 3, brake fluid, brake clean, anti-seize, a bottle of water with a hole on the top, and my brake flusher. Okay, since I'm going to be replacing the caliper, we don't have to loosen the bleeder screw. So I'm going to remove the caliper. Prying out the caliper. This caliper is frozen. That's why we're going to be replacing it. Removing the brake pads. Removing the caliper mount. There's 2 bolts, one here and one here. Removing my rotor. So I'm going to be taking apart the caliper so I can install my new hardware. Greasing up my hardware. So I'm going to be replacing the caliper. Okay, if you notice, the original screw is a lot shorter than the new one that came with the caliper. So I'm going to be reusing the old screw because this new one is actually too long. It's going to bottom out on the inside. So always make sure that you use new washers, and these washers came with the new caliper. Snug it up, and then later on when this caliper is mounted, then we can tighten up this screw. Put some anti-seize around my hub. Cleaning up my rotor. Make sure there's no oil on top of the rotor. Installing my rotor. Putting on one wheel nut so the rotor doesn't wobble too much on the hub. Putting on my caliper mount. Putting on my pads. Putting some grease on the back side of my pad. Put some grease on my caliper. Putting on my caliper. Don't forget to tighten up this screw. Now we're going to bleed the brakes. So I hooked up my brake flusher to the master cylinder. Now I'm going to underneath and open up the bleeder screw. Now I'm just going to let the brake fluid come out until it comes out clean. Once it comes out clean, then you can lock up the bleeder screw. Okay, that looks nice and clean, so we're going to lock it up. So removing my brake flusher. Make sure the fluid is full. Putting on my cap. So I'm going to be shooting down the bleeder screw and this screw that screws on the brake hose with water, because brake fluid is water soluble. So I'm going to dry it up with some air. Now I'm going to start up the vehicle and pressurize the system. Now start up the vehicle, pump the brake pedal up and down no more than halfway until you feel pressure. What you're trying to do is seat the pads against the rotor. Once you feel pressure, now with my hood prop, I'm gonna be putting one side against the brake pedal and the other side against the seat. Now we're gonna check for leaks. Pressurize the brake system about 15-20 seconds. Now check for leaks. Everything looks dry. Don't forget to put your rubber cap on. Now you're good to go. So that's how you replace the front pads, rotors, and calipers. Don't forget to subscribe. Give me a thumbs up and I'll see you in the next video. Aloha.